Hi. In this video, I'm going to talk about my own opinion around 4 reasons why I recommend to have a coach or a therapist during your psychedelic healing journey, and having someone either being your coach or being your therapist in since starting from preparation up until post psychedelic experience, in the integration phase is going to be very much helpful. And referring this into a context of if you are seeking psychedelic session as your own deep healing journey. There are several ways that psychedelic can be used to enhance the experience in your life in this world. And that can be from leisure, from helping you having creativity, because psychedelic work with different part of the brain that can help you break out of possibility in your life. In this video, I'm referring to if your intention is to look for deep healing journey, either it will be the transformation of your personality or something in the past, either with your parents, with your spouse, with your relationship, or with yourself, or even traumatizing experience, or the big T that we call in trauma world, such as any experience around abuse. This video is making with that intention for if you are looking for a deep healing journey from your psychedelic session. And my recommendation is to have a coach and a therapist to be your safe container for throughout the whole process. And in my own experience, it's depending on the psychedelic part that you are working with as well. It can be starting from 3 months up to 6 months by having person helping being setting your intention until helping you integrate post experience. So I'm not going to recommend what is the proper period in the whole process, because each therapist, each coach will have their own style, or maybe they will also feel into where you are at the moment and they can give you a better recommendation. And so let's jump into what are the 4 reasons that I'm talking about. So the first one, that having a coach and a therapist can be helpful to you in a sense that psychedelic journey is an experience during the session. And that experience can last for either one day up until 2 months. But we are talking about transformation of your lifetime. So the first reason is we wanted to ensure that you turn that experience into embodiment. And embodiment means literally means manifesting the experience into your life or into your physical world, whatever terms that you want to use. And by having a coach and a therapist, that coach or your therapist will be able to get you to get clarity on the experience on in during the session, what it means to you in your life, and that can turn into what is the actual change, the actual transformation, actual shift that you want to make it happen, and how do you want to make it happen. So by having someone that is professional, that is know how to guide you through um, exploring your mind, exploring your experience, and change it into from the experience itself into embodiment or manifesting in physical world is going to make a lot of difference. And I found that in my own integration journey as well. Um, for example, in your experience, you might be going into different world, or you might be seeing different picture, you might be seeing metaphor, and that how your minds work is sending you through picture, through metaphor, through feeling. It's not going to so your mind is not going to send you the exact messages. So many times, sometimes it does, but many times it's sent in through an indirect message. And by being with yourself, especially in the deep healing context, is can send a lot of strong messages that probably you get stuck in there, or probably it can be a big experience that you were having in the psychedelic journey, and then it doesn't relate to where you are in your current situation. By having professional, the professional will help you translating the message on what it means to you into your daily life and how do you going to use it moving forward. So that's point number one is turning experience into your real manifestation or embodiment. And my point number two is um, so it can be very confusing during the integration. And this is because you are dealing with many things at the same time. And because you are also dealing with your subconscious mind, the way that we grow up is we have our subconscious mind that store every memories, every detail of our life, including past generation. And when we are using psychedelic to open up that door of conscious mind into your subconscious mind, it's like open a Pandora box all at once. So when things come flooding out from your subconscious mind, it can be very confusing. And that can also translate into many things. You can hit your lowest point, or you can feel bad about yourself. So having someone going with you to unlock that confusion and get you into a more clarity state in your life is going to be faster and you're going to feel safer. And that is the real transformation that many people talk about. Why is integration is so important is because when we unlock our subconscious mind, it can be very creative in how it comes up for us. So we still need to have a way to make it make sense in our life, so that we can translate that knowledge into insight, into wisdom, and into actionable step in our life. So that's point number two. So it can be very confusing. And point number three is that because it can be very confusing and we are dealing with our own subconscious mind, with that, there are an element of your emotions that was suppressing, especially if you have depression before or something that you are aware that is an emotional suppression or repression or anger, for example, or even memory. So those things are suppressed in our subconscious mind, and when psychedelic open up and it come up at the same time, we can get lost in that forest of our own stories, of our own emotion. For example, in my experience, one of my psychedelic journey, it's unlocking part of my self when I was very young, and I feel that I'm lacking of self-worth. Nobody loved me and I'm experiencing a lot of rejection. And when I'm going through that emotion, I'm also seeing that in the physical world that I'm getting rejected from my friends, from my family. And when these things are happening, it's just part of our integration process to deal with whatever that is surfacing, because when we were younger, we didn't have capability to deal with all this confusing period or difficult emotion in our life. So we suppress it. And the word depression, if I'm referring to Gabor Mate, who is very well known for trauma world right now, the word depression means you are pressing something in your mind. So you're suppressing your emotion. And to me, it's very common if you are going to your deep healing journey, and that was your intention into looking psychedelic, that those difficult emotions are coming up. So it's very normal. That's not a bad trip. That is just a part of you that is processing stuff and information that you weren't able to process before. And this is very healthy journey that you are going through. That what I can tell you, in my experience working with my client. It's very normal for us to feel stuck in our emotion. And this is a good thing that at the end it's surfacing and you are not suppressing it anymore. So that's my third point of dealing with emotion. So when you have psychedelic, you can open up your difficult emotional memories, and having a coach and a therapist and not letting you get lost in your forest of memories and emotion and guiding you through the way out. That's going to be a much more fun experience. And I'm speaking directly from my experience of going through my own deep healing journey with different psychedelic medicines and substance or whatever. So the last one that I would like to talk about here about the reason of having someone as coach or therapist to be with you during preparation and integration process is that in the trauma world, so I'm a trauma-informed coach, and in our trauma world, we have this concept of empathetic witness. That's mean, so if you imagine a child does not have a capability to regulate their emotion fully up until they are becoming teenager. And the way that a kid or that child regulating emotion is to have a caregiver or a parent or an empathetic witness to be able to rely on the emotion of empathetic witness. That's how we move through our own difficult emotion. If is that we have someone who is emotionally regulated, who learn how to regulate themselves well, who learn how to be calm, who learn not to take things personally from another person when another person is going through difficult emotion. And that is called empathetic witness, someone with compassion to be able to attune to another person or to a child going through that difficult emotion. And just by having that someone who attune and understand and compassion toward that child, naturally, energetically, and in science or a lot of emotional research has already shown that that child is going to regulate themselves to meet their state of empathetic witness. And mostly our empathetic witness when we are growing up is our parents or our caregiver. And many times they were not taught about regulating emotion themselves, so they don't know how to regulate themselves, and with that they don't know how to regulate us, our experience when we were younger. So that's how we got stuck in our own trauma, which is we call it small t, is the separation of not having an emotional regulation during specific time in our life. And with that it got stuck in the past, and that's how, going back to my example of experience of my own self-worth, my own rejection, is that my experience there is when I felt angry or sad. I felt so alone because my parents, even if they are physically there, they don't know how to attune to me, and they have their own stress, they have their own problems, so they weren't able to attune to me. And I got stuck there when I was young. So in my healing journey and with psychedelic, when that opened up and I have a coach, a therapist alongside with me throughout the integration, that person is going to replicate being empathetic witness of my healing journey that I didn't have when I was young. And when I have that, that is going to unlock the energy that was kept for a long time. And that energy is, we have a lot of that experience in our life that we don't know how many that we have. I heard from Teal Swan that it can be 100 up to 1,000 situations that create that kind of separation from not having attunement, not having empathetic witness. And that's why if your intention for psychedelic is looking for deep healing journey, it's going to open up that moment where you are not regulated, where you get stuck, where you are not feel heard, you are not feel seen, and not being seen is the biggest trauma of the world right now. Um, so by having another person, that's going to help you shift from getting stuck in that state into balance or emotionally regulate in different point in time in your life. And that's the real healing journey is happening. That's the real wholeness, the real growth that is going to transform you. And yeah, so that's the four reasons that I'm recommending to have a coach or a therapist to be with your journey in the psychedelic. And I'm going to producing more video around um, how psychedelic is working as generally, and what's the process that I'm giving as just a framework, because different client has different intention, have different paths. So I'm having a framework to help them prepare and integrate in the journey. And I'm going to produce more video. And if you are interested, you can subscribe my channel. And I'm a trauma informed coach, and my name is Swan. And if you are interested with me, you can check out my Instagram, and I have a free training there. And it's not about psychedelic, but I hope you can see who I am and you can see what my work is about. And then that going to, if that's helping you, then you can book a call. It's a free call with me to find out more. And yes, have a good day. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.